To the newest installment of our Draenora series. I am your wonderful host, the DM, Aries, also known as Doma, on multiple social media websites, and I am joined by these lovely players, though minus one, due to the unfortunate events of our last episode. And if you don't know what I am referring to, stick around for the last time and you will be in the know. So, we're going to be going down the list since it has been a little bit of a hiatus since last time we were broadcasting and filming due to multiple several reasons. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll get little bits and pieces about why we've been on hiatus. But we'll get into that a little bit more. So starting at the top of the line, we've got my best friend in the entire world, the peanut butter to my jelly, the toast to my butter, playing the incredible Sterarch, my best friend, the gentleman Yosh.
Stop it.
You're adorable. And following him, another really, really good friend of mine, playing the bronze-skinned, volatile sorcerer extraordinaire, Emery, played by Jug.
Hey, hello. What's up?
Going up in the list that you can see down there in the bottom right, we've got Luvash up next, the incredible... What other words can I use other than incredibly charming Luvash, played by Alex.
Hello.
And last but not least, the angelic holy man himself, and quite honestly, one of the fluffiest men that I know, Fluff, playing Cornelius.
Hello.
And later on, somebody new, as you've seen in some of the promotional material that has been kind of floating around on socials for a little while today, of that interesting silhouette of a potential new character. So stick around to see everything that's going on in that section. That'll be happening a little bit later in the show. Moving on, now that we've got everybody out of the way, to some announcements. We have recently started a very you guys can help me out here. What words should I use? A very interesting program, I guess. Some people say that it's really it's a really good thing. It's fun for a lot of people, but we have started a program to teach people how to play D&D, kind of get the core rules down, learn the ins and outs of all the technical stuff behind playing the game, to get newer people into it, to maybe those who have heard about it but have never tried it, maybe watched it a little bit but want to see about getting into it themselves. We're the people that are going to help those people ease into the community and kind of integrate into what the tabletop culture is like. We currently have several learners enrolled in our program that are going through the sessions, and myself being one of the teachers for this program, also Luvash being another one. And if you are interested in that, then stick around during the break. We'll be talking a little bit more about it, and we'll be putting a link to the Discord for our official D&D Universe Discord for you to join in, be a part of the community, and if you're there for the learner program, so we can get you all situated and set up, figure out scheduling things, and then potentially get you in on one of the next learner sessions, so you can
come here.
so that way you can get into D&D, because it's definitely an incredible hobby that will create lots of really, really fun memories that will stick with you for years and years to come. Is there anybody wants to say about the program?
It's neat.
It is neat. It's very neat.
Well, we had the very first lesson a couple of days ago, and I think it went great. And I can't wait to have more people join in, because I really love doing it.
It's a lot of fun, and we all like playing the individual parts that we have to play in the program, and we hope to see some of you there. All right. Moving on to other announcements. none of which can come off the top of my head. And as I check my little piece of paper, it doesn't really seem that we have too many more announcements. But hey, sometimes there are announcements that need to be made when we're not streaming, when we're not live, when we're not broadcasting this show that we're making. And the outlet that we use to make those announcements are our socials. And if you don't know where we are on socials, you can go ahead and scroll down to the Twitch panels below, or scroll down to the description if you're watching this on YouTube and look at our socials. All of the players' Twitters are all put there, except for a couple people from either show that don't have that. And you can find them on other places. Or the best way to get in contact with us, or just talk with other fans of the show, or other people that just generally enjoy D&D, is to join the Discord, and there is a link down below in the description of the YouTube video. Not quite in the Twitch panels, but that will be coming shortly in the weeks to come. So yeah, when we have announcements that we need to make, those are the first places that goes up. So if you want to be the first person to know, or one of the first few people to know, then you want to go over there and you want to be a part of that notification group. I think that is all. So, without further ado, I believe it is time for Last Time on Draenora D&D. Our heroes, after scouring through the Castle Eleanor and confronting the young, dark-haired girl, Linara, and combating with what she referred to as her toys being large, stone guardian-like creatures that assaulted the group. The party then got split up as Luvash and Kalos were whisked away to some sort of diabolical laboratory, where they made contact with a rather peculiar individual by the name of Tagatura, hailing from the eastern forests and of high elven nature. After some rather horrific displays were made to both Kalos and Luvash, a bargain was struck between Linara and Luvash, which ultimately Luvash turned down, that of which being to infect all of Kalos's companions, we'll say, with these small little black beads, where after returning to the group in the main foyer of the castle, Luvash crushed said bag of black beads, causing boiling acid, or rather acid-like material, to burn into his hand, causing him to suffer somewhat severe burns, all the while being separated completely from Kalos. As the party continued looking for Kalos, they came across a rather strange library within the castle. Some of our players, some of our heroes, having been to this castle before and recognizing said library. After recognizing this area, they continued outwards towards the royal gardens, where they were met with some sort of mysterious maze of foliage. And after some rather comedic tactics to traverse the maze, involving the destruction of a thesaurus, I believe is what it was, the party eventually made their way through the maze and came to a clearing where they had finally seen Kalos. After making contact with Kalos once again, from a pool of water seemingly clouded by some sort of mist underneath the film above, rose a somewhat mostly human gentleman in a full black suit. After taunting the heroes ever so slightly, combat then broke out as this gentleman assumed control of both Kalos and Sterak, after being unable to grip Sterak with fear, forcing the heroes to turn against one another, unfortunately resulting in the death of Kalos. After witnessing the death of Kalos, Sterak was immediately broken out of his controlled state and rushed to his side, making cries out to the heavens to beg for any sort of answer to bring him back. And the answer he received was not from the gods, but from the gentleman. The gentleman spoke of a pool similar to the one that he had risen from earlier, that laid to the east within the depths of a giant forest, where upon Kalos's body was to be placed upon the waters. And according to the words of this gentleman, life would be restored to him. And after this information was gathered and this somewhat deal struck, the party then found themselves standing in front of Castle Eleanor in the courtyard, Kalos still in Starak's hands. And that is where we are going to pick up. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
Boy. Stressful.
Currently, Sterak is holding Kalos.
I'm sorry about your friend.
It is unfortunate, yes, but we must keep going. There is a way to save him, bring him back. I suggest the quickest way to get there would be favorable.
Hey, guys. Tagatura, a little bit off to the side, still fairly beaten. I really don't want to go back east right now. I'll meet up with you later. I'm still gonna do the thing because I really don't want to have that thing. He kind of looks over at Luvash happen to me. So I'm still gonna do that. I'm still gonna go to the east. I'm gonna help you get your friend back, but I need to do some of my own things first.
Do as you wish. For right now, we must make haste.
So yeah, I'm gonna go.
Don't get yourself killed, buddy.
He's gonna like hold his thesaurus up and like flip through the pages. The word of the day is hope. You gotta keep that. And he closes it really quickly, starts to walk towards the sort of gated portcullis as the grate begins to rise upwards.
I'll go ahead and look to the party. Now, do any of us know what he was talking about exactly? This pond or lake, was it?
Was it? I think it was a swamp, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
I don't recall.
Well, we know of one thing. It's towards the east. let's go grab some supplies for the trek. Maybe horses, a carriage.
Do not return to the inn. You must find somewhere else for the night.
All right.
Now, as you're holding Kalos in your hands, and you're discussing, Cornelius, make a perception check, because I'm pretty sure you have the highest passive perception.
That's 10.
All right. You notice something moving around Kalos's neck, but you can't see quite what it is.
Like on his neck or like underneath?
Like on his neck. Like almost peeking out of his clothing.
Can I investigate, try to put like an arm on Sterak and try to tug him back?
Go for it, man. You don't gotta ask me. You do your thing.
I'm gonna try to tug Sterak back. What is that?
What do you mean? And then I'll look down.
On his neck?
Can I roll for perception?
Make an investigation check.
All right.
The perception is kind of just getting the lay, but now that you're actually like looking at it.
Let's see.
Nope.
Didn't even get to see. Oh, it's a natural one.
You are still trying to get through the kind of haze of the tears that are slowly beginning to well up as you look down upon your dead friend. You can't see what Cornelius is referring to.
I'm kind of worried because the last time that something was around his neck, it stabbed me.
Well, if you see something there that I do not, go ahead. I'll hold Kalos out towards him.
Something off with his neck? The closer look?
Make an investigation check.
That's a nat 20.
So, as you kind of lift Kalos up, it's kind of like holding a toddler. Like you have hands underneath the arms, kind of on the torso, lifting him up. And you kind of use your thumb to pull at the collar to kind of see the area where you saw this almost tendril-like sort of thing on Kalos's body. And as you pull back the collar, you see around the collarbone, very, very close to the jugular, this tattoo, it would almost seem, of a black rose. And as you kind of pull the collar back further to kind of look down onto the chest, you see that vines coming off of this rose it looks like a very long tattoo that stretches all the way down his left side to about his hip.
That's concerning. Did he have this before? Asking to Sterak.
And I'll say because of the natural 20, you will remember that the black rose is the same flower that led the trail that was growing in the library to the door that led out towards the gardens.
So it has something to do with this area.
I've given you the information.
Well, I'm asking Sterak, is this new?
I don't know. Just I don't wish to see my friend in this state. If you could just hold on to him for a while. I need to compose myself.
Well, I'll try to hold him as respectfully as I can.
So as you look, like, kind of trying to still see the full length of this tattoo, because of the natural 20, because it was a natural 20, you look closer to it, and it seems almost as if it's not really a tattoo, these vines, but rather physical vines that are writhing slowly and moving ever so slightly underneath the skin. And you get just a moment before Kalos's body sort of begins to burn away, almost like ashes being blown by the wind, into these black petals that sort of just move up into the air, and starting at the top of his head as it goes down towards the torso, you begin to see this small little black seed that suspends in air for a moment as the rest of the body begins to sort of dissipate.
Is this kind of floating in the air?
Yeah, it's suspended in air, this almost palm-sized black seed.
And the figure is no longer here?
Kalos's body is gone.
Our persuasive fellow.
You guys are outside in Castle, like the courtyard of Castle Eleanor.
Okay. I'll just kind of look towards the sky as I grasp it, and we had a deal.
That we did, and we have to fulfill it. For our friend. Now then. I'll say, kind of wiping off the tears. Which way?
First, we must rest. We've been through quite the ordeal.
I admit I'm not too familiar with the city. I haven't been here long. Is there another inn nearby that we could use?
I'd recommend most of you, or all of you, head to the east side and find an inn. I'll meet with you in the morning.
Any objections?
I'm concerned, but it sounds like you have something you need to do.
Indeed.
All right.
Then I guess I'll head off towards the Silver Dragon.
Okay. Actually, Starark, make a history check. When you first entered Eleanor, you went through the east side. So make a history check to see if you can recall any tavern, since nobody's speaking up about one. A place of lodging. Meanwhile, Emery begins to make his way off towards the western gate.
Apologies, I couldn't hear you quite well.
Make a history check.
Oh.
Am I coming through okay, or is something wrong?
It's a little problem with my headset. It's starting to give out a bit.
Okay, everybody's hearing me just fine, right?
Yeah.
All
Yep.
Right, let me make a history check right quick.
Okay.
16.
You do recall the name as you passed by it the first time all those months ago. The Rusted Flagon on the eastern side of Eleanor. It's really close to the entrance, actually. Like a stone's throw away. And you are reminded of a rather interesting fellow by the name of Boulder. Just a very happy thought.
Follow me.
So
I'll just start walking.
Very well.
if there are no objections, for the sake of expediency, we'll say that everybody gets to their destinations. They're equal distance away, so that both the two parties would arrive at the same time. One thing that you notice is that the streets are empty of guards completely. The streets are completely empty of any sort of militaristic presence, and it is quiet. The wind does not move. And as you look up towards the sky, what you would usually see being a rather star-filled sky is instead this sort of purplish haze. So we'll
That's unnerving.
yeah, a little bit. We'll start with the Rusted Flagon, and then we'll do the Silver Dragon. So everybody makes their way over to the Silver Flagon.
Rusted.
Yeah, the Rusted, sorry. Freudian slip. So, Rusted Flagon, who's walking in first?
I'll
Sarek
hang
was
back
leading
in
the way.
Better question.
Like,
What's the marching order?
It always
thought-
comes down to this.
I thought Starrick was leading the way.
Yeah, I know Starrick is in front, so I just didn't know if anybody wanted to, like, if anybody was more tired than him and wanted to get to a bed faster, like.
I'll hang out in the middle.
Alright, well, there's only 3 of you, so.
Yeah, as soon as we get to the entrance of it, I'll just wait for them to go inside and just.
So you want to be the last in the door.
Yeah, I'll hang outside for a little bit.
Okay, then, because of that, Luvash is the first one to enter, and as you enter in, it is completely empty, except for the tavern keep and a small little brown-haired girl sitting on a stool off to the left. Though it's at this point that I need everybody to make perception checks that are at the Rusted Flagon.
Oh boy.
Snap.
Perception.
That's an 18.
9.
21.
Okay. So, Cornelius and Luvash, you look over at these two people that are there, and both of them are frighteningly still. They are completely unmoving, almost like porcelain dolls.
Oh god.
Now,
I really
the
don't like this.
little girl is facing straight forward, which is perpendicular to the way that you're facing, but the tavern keep was facing towards the door. And with the perception of 21, as you look into the general direction of the tavern keep, you see that there's something very, very off about this area, obviously, but more specifically with the tavern keep. She's a little less colorful than the little girl. We'll say it like that.
Does she look like me?
She looks pale for sure, but in a very interesting way. So take it away.
Barkeep, if you don't mind, 3 rooms.
No response. No movement.
Are they even like? Are they standing perfectly still, or are they like as if it was in motion and just time stopped?
Perfectly still. Arms down on either side.
Are they blinking?
No.
Something is not right here.
What do you mean? They're perfectly normal for all I can tell.
If by normal you mean unmoving and unblinking.
How do you figure?
Somebody speak. Don't let there be dead air.
Can I tell if they're breathing? Like if their chests are moving? Or...
Investigation check. Let's see it.
That's a 13.
They are not breathing.
Oh.
They are not breathing. So either something's horribly wrong or we're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Have I mentioned how much I hate this town?
You are not alone, Mubash.
I guess we should just go upstairs.
I don't think they're going to stop us. So why not?
Okay, so the last one in the door was Sterak, so I need Sterak. Make a general dexterity check.
Let's see here. Natural 20.
Alright.
Oh my god.
The little girl falls forward.
Oh.
Everybody was a very good distance away. You were all kind of lined up at the counter. And the little girl falls forward, and as you turn around, you see the little girl kind of just land with a thud against the ground. And you see what look like stitches going all the way up the back, and then up the neck, and then up the head. Everybody make a wisdom save.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh boy.
16.
16.
Actually, this is the one thing I didn't check. Okay, I do have proficiency with wisdom saving throws. Okay. Okay. 24.
Oh, damn.
Okay, then you're all fine. It's extremely unnerving, but you've seen a lot of very unnerving things today.
I thought we were done with whatever that was.
I say just move on. The faster we go to bed, the quicker everything will be over.
Figure we can skip this town.
Agreed.
Very well.
So then,
if you don't mind me.
Everybody makes their way upstairs, and we will change our scene over to the Silver Dragon. Emery, there are no guards, but there is one thing on your mind, and you need to know. You need to know. You need to know. So, as you walk in through the door, for a moment you almost feel like you saw Pop standing on the other side of the counter, like he always is. Even if it's not the real Pops and it's some sort of illusion, there's always Pops behind the counter. There's always your father behind the counter. But he isn't there. And you could have sworn that you had seen an outline, a sort of shimmering visage of him appear in front of you for a split second before vanishing.
Mm-hmm.
And you close the door behind you. A little bit of dust kind of moves on the ground with the force of the wind being pushed in by the door. The fireplace is cold where it's usually crackling. And there's scattered bits of food over on the tables, and as you kind of take a sweeping glance around the room, you see huge black stains of some sort of viscous liquid seeping into the wood of the leftmost table from the entrance. What do you do?
I'm going to try and enter the enclave.
So you walk up to the counter and you pull open the sort of side compartment, and expecting to see yourself, as you normally do, walk in through the door, you go behind the counter and you open the door and you see a very small room. A very small room with a few shelves and lots of cobwebs. Very dusty. The shelves are barren, except for a small piece of parchment.
Well, let's see what it is.
I will be giving you the contents of that parchment soon.
Mhm.
What else do you wish to do?
Let's check upstairs to see if there's anything at all.
So you run upstairs and you begin opening each of the doors. All of them are unlocked. As you go one by one, the rooms are just as disturbed as they were. And as you get to the room that Buckwild was staying in, it's just completely trashed, as it was before the whole sort of trap was sprung.
Mhm.
But there is almost nothing that got left behind.
At this point, I think my only option is head east to the eastern inn. Doesn't seem to be much else I can do here.
Are you sure there's anything left you want to do?
Unless you're going to give me a clue, I can't think of one.
Okay.
I'm not going to do anything rash, so. Yeah, I'm just going to head east to the eastern inn.
Okay.
Now, I do have a question.
And I have an answer.
The innkeeper that we saw in the Rusted Flagon that was a moving,
Yes.
was that the same one that I saw?
That was the It's About 10 at Night woman, yes.
Okay.
Actually, can I have you make a retroactive history check, Stark?
Yeah, I'm on it.
Because it's interesting that like we haven't gone here in a long time, lore-wise.
14.
You recognize the Tavern Keep from the first time that you were there.
Huh.
That is the same one.
I'm tired.
You are. It's your last thought before you go to sleep. You're like, I know her.
I thought something was strange.
And then, yeah. Thump. Okay, so everybody else is just gonna call it a night.
Before
make
I
it to
sleep,
Ooh, before you sleep.
I have to know, do I have my connection back?
Nope.
Gosh dang it.
Do I make it to the eastern inn?
You do.
Okay.
And you open and read the parchment in that travel time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, then.
Oh, I'm asleep.
Yes. So, for the sake of expediency, we'll see that everybody makes their way to rest for the night. Now, get all your stuff back because everybody's all nice and healed. Spell slots are back. Everything is so nice.
I'm not about to die anymore. Thank God.
Beautiful healing.
Everybody is back up to perfect tip-top shape except Kalos, who is a seed.
He's in tip-top seed shape, man.
Yes, tippity-top seed shape.
I'm still blue though.
Yes.
Dabba-dee, dabba-die.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm blue now.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you, man.
I forgot that
yeah.
you were blue.
It's until I get the curse removed, yeah.
Yeah, you're blue.
How blue am I, Ares?
I would say like just a nice. It gets mixed with the bronze.
Mm-hmm.
So I would
Like a-
say like. Oh God.
Really weird green.
Just put dirt on like Just put dirt on some ice that's like dyed blue, like with food coloring.
Uh-huh.
Like dirt on
That's
a blue
really weird.
popsicle. Dirt on a blue popsicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. It's like that weird tinge. It's hard to describe.
I can't say I've ever dropped a blue popsicle in dirt. So
That's gonna be a fun Google search later. Okay, so long rest. Everybody gets it in. Everybody wakes up. It's just as eerie as it was before. The town is completely the same. Is there anything anybody would like to do before they leave Eleanor?
I don't think so.
I would, but I can't.
What would that be?
I want my friend back.
Well,
I do want to go check one last thing.
Okay.
I want to see if. Hold on. I have it written down.
Oh boy. Let's see it.
Where is it? Gentham. I want to see if Gentham is frozen too.
Well, you would have to. I'll say that because he's on the way to Castle Eleanor, like on that route in between, the whole city was empty. All the stands were still open. They weren't closed up for the night. Completely empty.
Because I wanted to check because I was gonna switch my rapier with another one. And I was gonna say, I'm sorry, and do something else. But
Yeah, like the shops weren't folded up and there wasn't anybody there.
all right,
So there's no one there even now.
Well, you kind of open up the door and you look outside and you expect the people who would normally be walking during the day to be doing so, and maybe the guards to be out, but no, it is just as empty. And after your 8 hours of rest, it is still just as dark outside.
I'm gonna go look for some arrows, take whatever I can find in like 20 minutes at most, and then that's it. But I'm good.
I think I'll be following Luvash to go and get supplies, foods.
Well, if two of us are going one way, I'm not going to go another.
Smart.
We're going on a trip.
In our favorite dead town.
So, I'll say for the sake of this, anybody who is proficient with Arcana, make an Arcana check.
yay.
Darn.
Oh, I don't think I'm proficient with it anymore. Yeah. You want to say what that is?
I did.
You did not.
Did you not hear me?
Nope, say it again.
16.
Okay, 16 with the mic boost.
All I did was turn up my gain, so.
So, As you look up towards the sky, you realize that it hasn't changed. And you recognize some similarities in a specific type of magic.
Mm.
And as you kind of look around, you can tell that the Eleanor that you're standing in right now is not the same Eleanor that you've been living in for the past couple of months.
Okay.
And I'll say, as you begin to scour the stands in the market district which is closest to you without walking to the all other side of the city and making a day of it, everything is empty. There are no people. There are no shops. There's just empty buildings. There really isn't anything for you to scavenge, unfortunately.
Are there any... Well, where are the stables?
The stables?
Yes.
There are individually run stables outside of the castle walls.
Well, where's the nearest one to the east? Wall. East entrance.
East. It's rather difficult because of how trade is in the east. There aren't stables on the east side. Make a history check, Nick, and add your proficiency bonus because this is relevant to your background slightly.
History plus proficiency.
Yeah.
Let's see. 16.
Okay. I was just doing the math, and okay. So you would know that there aren't any stables on the east, because of the trade agreement between the rather powerful, at least monetarily, trade corporations to the east kind of regulate the travel in that section, and as a result, the services that they offer kind of nullify, or rather, what's the word that nullifies something else? Starts with an O.
I was thinking super
Obsolete?
lost.
Yeah, it makes the stables on the eastern side obsolete. Thank you. SAT words.
How far are we trying to go?
Well, you would know because of that history check that you could make a stop at a place that is pretty close to you.
How far is the travel?
How far is the travel?
Yeah.
On foot?
Just in general, like mile-wise, I guess.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. You would need to make a stop. It would be 2 days doing that.
Okay.
And there is actually a place like right in the middle that you'd be able to stop at.
Okay.
And it's a place that is actually pretty close to your story.
Perfect. Let's head to the east side of the city then.
All right.
We don't need horses.
Lead the way.
Once we're outside of the anti-magic circle, we'll be quite set.
Oh God. So, as everybody makes their way out, you walk up to the first wall of the 3 walls that protect Eleanor's outskirts, and as you walk towards it, there's the giant metal grate that is stationary for a moment, but as each of you walk forward, nothing happens. But as Cornelius walks forward, Cornelius, you're still holding on to that seed, right, bud?
I am.
As you walk forward, we'll just say for the purpose of this, you're holding it in your hand. You feel it begin to like get slightly warm, and the entryway begins to open up, and you make your way through all 3 walls. So let's get this out of the way right now. Who's going to be the seed bearer? Who wants that task?
I'll take it.
If Starrick wants it because it's his friend, I won't object, but I currently have it.
I
Yes.
think Stark should take it. You should be the seed boy.
Seed man.
Okay, then
There you
Yes,
go.
I'll take it.
you are the seed bearer. As he hands you this seed and you take it into your hand, for a second you could swear that you could hear Kalos like laughing as you look down at it.
Happily or menacingly?
Happily. Giddily. Joyfully. In enjoyment.
Take good care of him, buddy.
By the way, would I have been able to spot a weapon shop or anything that might have arrows?
Well, that's what I was saying. There's nothing to scavenge. It is completely empty of
Oh,
everybody and everything, which is related to that Arcana check that was made about the Eleanor that you're standing in not being the same Eleanor that you've been living in.
Mhm.
Though, your concerns will be taken care of. Just leave it all to Emery.
You're not in
um,
Kansas anymore.
you're
This is
not.
our Kansas.
What do you mean, Arkansas? So as you make your way through the 3 gates, you take that last step through the first one. They begin to close behind each of you, and I need everybody except Nick to make Constitution saves.
oh no.
Well, goodbye, Crow World.
That's not what this is. I'm pretty sure it's if we throw it up now.
10.
Natural 20.
Second
Well,
time,
looks
me and
like-
Cornelius.
Yeah, you guys match up again. Both of you
Yeah.
collapse onto the ground as all of your magic begins to surge back into you, and it just hits you like a wave of pain. It is way too much stimulation all at once, and you fall onto the ground. You both take 10 points psychic damage.
Jesus.
Wait, our magic?
Yes, for you, technically, it still does because that it is a part of you.
Is she back?
Alright.
That's going to require some actual sit-down concentration time before you can check that, Cornelius. So those 2 collapse.
Are we
So
conscious or like reeling in pain?
reeling in pain, it just hurts a lot.
Uh,
It's like your skin is trying, like this. It's like your muscle is trying to pull itself out of its skin.
ow.
That's a painful image.
Yeah. Good lord.
We have powerful magics we have to contain.
I mean, not really. I just have, like, cool arrows that I can shoot.
You sacks of magic.
I
I
mean,
was trying to play it up.
yeah, it's definitely hitting you all at once. Whereas the keystone would allow you to channel through it and kind of create that buffer and keep this from happening. Now that that is out the window, it's just all at once. So after you get over that, the both of you lift yourselves up off the ground, and your whole body feels somewhat sore.
Actually, I was gonna stay on the ground for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Defeated.
Okay. But you're outside the city. You're outside Eleanor, and you're gazing upon the huge windswept plains that stretch and stretch across the horizon. And the purple haze above you is gone. It's somewhere around midday.
Well, time to get going.
Come on, buddy. We gotta go. I'll kind of try to help myself and Luvash kind of get back to our feet.
So now that we're out, I'm gonna take a deep breath, turn around, and give the whole city a big middle finger.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna continue.
So I'm gonna Are you thinking where this is going?
I know exactly where this is going. You reach into your component pouch and you pull out a small little piece of cloth.
Oh boy.
If you could read out the name of that cloth as to why it is special, it is a very special name.
Are we thinking about the same thing?
Yes, you're using the travel version of that spell.
Yes. The bit of gauze.
Yeah, it's a bit of gauze, and then it has a special component for the travel version of it, not the utility version. I think it's called like wind wool or something.
Don't remember.
Yeah, there's definitely a special component, which is why this spell does what it does. And it's a small little piece of green cloth that has these 3 lines that are supposed to represent wind. And as he holds it up and begins to say the arcane incantation, it begins to slowly turn itself into shreds, and the shreds begin to I think you can cast it on everybody in the group, including yourself, right?
I can. Yes.
Yes.
The 4 willing creatures.
Yes. So the little scraps of that material begin to rapidly spin and orbit around your bodies until you begin to feel your very physical being beginning to be altered. Is everybody willing to let Emery cast this spell on you?
Oh,
Yes, why
boy.
not?
Sure.
You named it Arrowwool, I remember.
Yes, arrow wool or something like that. Cornelius, are you willing?
Well, it's Samurai. He's not gonna try to kill us. I'll trust him.
Okay, so since everybody's willing, you begin to feel your physicality ripped away from you as what was once your body is now just gaseous air.
I'm a skeleton again. Wait, no.
What the hell?
And as each
What
of you
is
try to
this?
speak, no words come out.
Still gonna think it.
I'm gonna start heading off towards the
In the
Can I
Can I
direction.
try to understand what is happening?
You can tell and you know how to move your body. The spell gives you this knowledge. This is a very altered form of the spell, gaseous form. That allows you to move very quickly, and as you look around, seeing your fellow companions turning into these small little clouds of this greenish air, almost like a very fine mist. You begin to see one kind of rise up very quickly and then begin darting towards the east. Does everybody else follow suit?
Oh yeah. As soon as I see any motion, I'll follow it.
All right.
We'll go
any
on a
motion.
trip.
You hear those words, Ares? Any motion.
Mhm. If there's a
I am
cricket in
pretty
the
freaked out.
grass, ooh, vroom.
Whoosh.
So yes, it's very much as if you're skydiving. Like you lean and you move drastically through the air, and you see the planes kind of moving extremely quickly through you, and you're traveling for the full day. And just constantly moving, following this single tendril. And as the day draws near to the evening, you've been flying over the plains the whole day. And as you're looking around, I'd like everybody to make a sightseeing perception check.
A what now?
Sightseeing perception check.
18.
7.
14.
Okay, so it's like an ocean of green in the way that the wind is sweeping the long, tall grasses of the plain, almost in waves, and it's very mesmerizing. Though because of that 18, you just barely crossed the threshold of 16. You see a skeleton of this large lizard-like creature
Oh no. How big is it?
It's really big, but you don't really think too much of it. It's like you're speeding past it, but you catch it out of the corner of your eye. This huge quadrupedal creature. So as I said, as you're drawing towards the evening, you see this large, almost circular environment that looks like it's almost broken up into 3 portions. Imagine a like a pie chart, a circle, broken up into 3 sections.
Oh.
And in the center of it is a relatively small city with a few buildings with a wall around it. So one portion of the circle is huge, outstretching farmlands. Another one is smaller, sort of. It's like a large section of huddles and homes, very, very close together. And then another one that has its largest building, at least from what you can tell from being so high up, is some sort of what looks like docks as if they were on land.
Whoa.
Huh.
That's strange.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And earlier in the day, you saw what looked like ruins of an old destroyed town. Not too far from this larger place that you're currently looking at.
It's Thanos.
Mr. Starak, I don't feel so good.
Becomes a seed.
I guess we'll go to the city. Well,
Do we park our gaseous bodies near the entrance?
I think we just land in the middle of the city. See what happens.
Sorry.
Oh, so you're gonna try and fly within the walled off area?
You know, fly like high up and then just drop down the middle.
That does.
Yeah, within. I'm within the walled off area. Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, like center of the city.
Okay.
At least I am. I can't speak for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm landing at the entrance of the city.
There isn't like. Are you talking like okay? So the city. Are you referring to as the little walled off area in the center of the giant circle?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Because there's the one that has lots of houses. It's just
Yeah.
kind of difficult to make out individual details. But it seems to have the most clustered kind of sense of structures. So since there's a lot of buildings there, you might find a lot of different things there. And then remember, in the convergence point of these 3 things in the direct center is the very small walled off area.
Well, seeing how it's walled off, I won't land within the walls. I think I'll land where the wall meets the cluster of buildings, so to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
If I can tell that we're all like forming in one big old gas ball, then I'm gonna go that way.
The spell ends and we're all just
Big ball of gas.
Oh no. We're just all combined in one amalgamation.
Like that one. Like that
That's
one.
what a chimera is, guys.
No, like that one knockoff Capri Sun commercial.
Oh no.
Oh my god, I love that.
I thought of the one SpongeBob episode, and it all started when I was born.
Okay, so just a quick clarification for this spell, you need to concentrate for a minute to regain your physicality.
Yes. Now wait until everyone's at least a foot off the ground. Or
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so as you descend lower, you notice that the tallest building is a 2-story large establishment. that kind of sticks out from everything else, and it seems to be made of some sort of higher quality material than the rest of the hovels that are around.
That's the one that's walled in?
No, it's within the kind of buildings area.
Okay.
It's like the tower among the sandcastles type thing.
Yeah.
So you kind of, it's very, very densely packed. There's like a single road down the center, almost kind of similar to Eleanor, but even more densely packed, where there's very, very little space between buildings, but you still find a space like sort of, or rather, I'm not going to make the decision for you. Do you want to find an alleyway, or do you want to try and become people in the middle of a crowd?
Yes, find the most just
Congested,
crowd.
yeah, the most congested spot of people.
Hello.
I thought we were just gonna have a party with ourselves. Let's bring the whole town into it.
Somewhere not too congested, but like with enough like place to like comfortably stand.
Yeah.
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 So after flying around for a little while, there is a sort of kind of space between buildings where each of you fly into, and you focus on reforming, and you begin to see every other person beginning to turn from a little green mist, slowly solidifying. Imagine like a transparency slider kind of being turned up.
Yeah.
Like an opacity, and then you
powers
it's like you're loading, and then ding, and then you're good.
We're streaming.
But then there's buffering.
One of us is only done halfway.
A little blue circle, kind of with a little light going in the blue circle.
What in the blazes is this?
Emery.exe is stop responding.
Guys, help! This hasn't happened before.
Pull up the task manager.
Help!
Help me. All right. Jokes aside, everybody reforms after a minute of concentration, and wow, flying.
It's amazing. But that took a whole day.
Yes, it did take a
Are we
whole day.
tired?
It's like the evening now, right?
Yes, it is. The sun is just about completely set.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say for cinematic purposes.
What is this place?
Would any of us know where this place is?
Technically, no. Well, actually, maybe Luvash.
Do I need to make a history check, or do I just know?
Yeah, make a history check. Because it might not have been this portion of the city.
10.
Yeah, you don't know the name of this portion of the city. You just remember this really, really weird place that it was pretty uncomfortable to be around, so you just got your things that you needed to continue your travels and left as soon as possible.
That bodes well.
Yeah, right?
Well, let's try and find somewhere to sleep for the night.
So who wants to take up the front?
Let your big, strong paladin come in. Let's
Okay,
go.
I'll think.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Same.
be at the end then.
Yeah, I'll take middle, I guess.
Whatever place is safe.
Yeah, that's
You'll
my
be in the middle of two paladins.
that was
Yeah,
my idea.
That's
Yeah.
fine then.
I'm more bard than paladin, though.
I'm not actually a paladin. I just play one on TV.
I saw one on the television.
It's just always been a dream of mine.
I would like one. Does that count?
So yeah, we're gonna try and find an inn or something, somewhere to sleep.
Okay, so as you walk out into this area, you see... Well, rather, you're expecting a lot of people, since as you're flying around, you were seeing a lot of people kind of making their way through the main street of this area. But as you continue going through, there's a sort of strange feeling about it. There's still people walking the streets. It's definitely refreshing compared to the rather horrific events of the night prior and earlier in the day. So seeing people walking around, a couple of just interesting folk making their way about things. The first thing that immediately catches your eye is the large 2-story building that kind of stands out as a beacon comparatively to the rest of the buildings. And let me just make sure I get this right.
It's the silver flagon.
Actually, it's just called the old hole in the wall.
Oh no.
That's not promising.
Does that mean there's a new hole in the wall?
So you go up to this building, and it says, "Ye old hole in the wall." And you can hear sort of a little bit of music trickling in through these almost like saloon type doors. And you can see like the sort of warmish orange glow of light, and some rather merry cheers of the patrons from within, sort of muffled by the walls as you approach.
Well, are we all going to stand here?
Lead the way.
Cornelius, you can open the door.
Open the door.
So as you open the door and you make your way inside, it is a very, very, very lively environment. A lot of people, after working a long, hard day of tending to the land, have gathered here at Ye Old Hole in the Wall. And it is packed and filled to the brim. There is a very measly group of musicians in the corner, sort of playing a rather merry tune. And you see multiple sort of servers of the establishment kind of moving and weaving between the extremely packed sort of almost common area of this place.
Well, I think you should go talk to the barkeep.
So as you approach the bar, it is very, very packed. There's a couple of seats, but there are actually 4 seats, but 2 of them are together, and then there are 3 people in between, and then 2 to the left of those 3 people. So 2, 3, 2. The 2's being empty.
I'm fine with us not all sitting in a group.
Yeah.
Likewise.
I'll sit on the left side.
Yeah, I'll sit beside Emery.
Guess I'll take next to the 3.
So Cornelius and Luvash on the right, Emery and Sterak on the left.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so each of you sit down, and you see this rather spry and, from just the look of it, this rather tough woman of a barkeep. Several tattoos going all the way up and down both arms, wearing this sort of red attire with the name of the establishment adorning it. And you can see that has her arms full of mugs of some sort of more dark colored ale as she slides them across the bar into the waiting open hands of the patrons, and as each sort of mug hits the hand, it raises up with a resounding cheer. And each of you sit down. Who would like to take initiative?
Don't make us roll initiative. I don't want to start a bar fight.
I will
Oh.
take the strongest alcohol that you have and keep it coming.
Your rather low voice is completely drowned out by the resounding, joyful cheer of the environment around you. I know it's kind of hard to tell when there's dead silence, but...
There's something I want to say, but I'm not sure I actually want to say it.
Say it. Say it, Cornelius.
I'll take the strongest thing you have, but if I can't have you, then I'll take a drink instead.
Oh no.
Make
My
a
God.
general charisma check. This definitely catches the attention of the barkeep, and she turns her head in your direction with a look on
That's a
her face.
17.
With the look of
Intrigue. One eyebrow raised.
Boulder Part 2.
As it's sort of like inquisitive intrigue. It's a mix between like a sort of glare, but also like a kind of look.
She's so intrigued.
All right, some of our strongest stuff. And she turns around and grabs a really big mug, like larger than the other ones, that she'd been sliding across the counter, and pulls from a tap beneath the large stacked barrels that kind of have taps that she's been opening and pulling from. That's sort of out of sight, and then she personally walks up in front of you and slams it down on the wooden bar. And
Throw
looks
the
you
wink.
dead in the eye.
Throw the wink.
If you're gonna, Starark is saying that. Comments are made by your characters in game.
As she's staring at him, I am gonna lean in closer to him and just say, I'll have one as well.
I smile back at her and take it.
I didn't say she was smiling.
She just looked you dead in the eyes.
No, I'm smiling towards her.
All right.
Thank you. Now it's time to get drunk and one thing.
So she looks over at you, kind of with your voice still kind of a little bit low. So you're gonna have what he's having?
Yes.
All right, then that's two. And then she goes and, with a normal-sized mug, similar to the ones that she's been handing out to the other patrons, pours you something from the tap, unseeable from your perspective, and plops it down in front of you. And then she looks over towards Emery and Stark, since all of you sat down at the same time.
I'll just wave my hand like, nah, I'm fine.
Now she just looks over at you, and it
Oh.
gives you this glare.
Well, yeah, I'll still do it. Just, I'm fine.
I'm gonna give her no. Never mind.
A mistake waiting to happen.
It's true. I was I'm just gonna ask for food.
Then ask for food.
I'm gonna wave her over.
She puts an elbow down on the bar and doesn't move. Speak up. Come on, you've got a tongue, don't you?
Do you serve anything to eat?
Of course I do.
Well, what do you have?
What do you want?
Do you have any pink slime?
The hell do you mean pink slime?
It's out west. They have this delightful meal called pink slime, and it's quite the treat. You asked what I wanted.
She stops for a moment, completely unfazed, and without skipping a beat, grabs some leftover cut raw pork sausage
Nice.
and dices it up until it is somewhat of a slimy texture, and then serves it to you.
Not quite what I had in mind, but
That's what you asked for.
That was clever.
it's a bit different. I'll just say that.
She turns her head over to Sterak. And what about you,
I'm
number 4?
nothing for me, thank you, but quite a sense of humor you've got. I'll say with a little smirk.
Don't you go smirking at me, I'll fucking knock your face off. And there's another there's a call from down the bar. Shayla! Another round! And she starts to fill up another round of drinks.
Oh, she's great.
She is. Good character.
Slides another 4 mugs down the bar. The sort of liquid almost barely sloshing out of the mugs, but not, and landing firmly in the open hands with another resounding cheer. And while there is a moment where nobody's really asking for anything, pours herself an ale and downs it in one go. Turns the cup upside down.
Jeez. We need rooms for a night. Are there some here, or is there an inn nearby?
This is the only inn in all of the Triad.
Perfect. We found the right place.
Alright, so it's going to be for the 4 of you, all going to be staying in the same room? Is it going to be separate?
Well, it depends on how much it costs, of course.
Well, it depends on how much you have.
Separate.
We're travelers.
Alright, well, I heard your friend over there say separate.
Well,
How much is separate? You two seem to have sat down together in groups of 2. So, 2 rooms for the lovers?
That sounds fine. I'll say, rolling my eyes a bit. Emery, go on.
and how much are the rooms?
She looks up for a second. And then she says, so first, let me get this straight. It's 2 rooms for 2 people in each.
Sure, that works.
Right. For one night. In the only inn in all of the Triad.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be 40 silver.
That's just 4 gold. Isn't it?
She gives you this look. I said 40 silver.
I'm gonna look at Luvash too, kind of confused. Like,
Wait, isn't 10 silver 1 gold?
Okay, now you're asking out of character. Yes.
I am, yes.
It
Okay.
is.
Just because I thought I might have gotten there wrong.
No, you're right.
That seems a bit excessive.
It's fine.
You know what? I'll take the hit. You guys don't worry.
Oh, well, look at you, Mr. High Roller. And she scoops the 4 gold from you. And then a sort of smaller, younger, but similar, almost strikingly so, to Shayla, as you've learned her name to be. Woman walks up to the bar. Mom, they're gonna need another round. Sort of pointing back towards a group of half-orcs sitting in the corner.
cool.
And instead of getting another round of mugs like she's been doing in response, she grabs one of the full barrels that's kind of like stacked up in a pile behind her, lifts it up onto her shoulder, and walks behind the bar to the table in the back.
Very impressive.
Now, as I follow her with my eyes and I have a look around, do I see any people who seem to be kind of shifty?
You see a perception check in your future.
In your near future, maybe
It's now.
14.
You would keep looking around the room, but as you make this sort of sweeping look from right to left, the first thing that catches your eye towards the back right corner, opposite of the half-orcs, you see a table that is mostly empty except for one black tabaxi.
Oh. That's troubling.
Dun, dun, dun.
I guess I'm gonna make my way over there.
Make an athletics check, because you're elbowing through a lot of people to try and get there.
Oh,
even
God.
even in the most politely of ways. There's a lot of people in this bar.
Can I do acrobatics instead?
Nope.
God damn it. 4.
You try and break through the crowd, but it's like hitting a solid wall. And as you're like making your way through it, it kind of takes you a little while, and you kind of look over off to the side and you see Shayla has already delivered the barrel and is sort of just like using her hips to like knock people to the side, and these people are almost like falling over onto the tables with the force of the blow.
She got a booty too.
As she makes her way back to the bar, kind of flipping it open, then walking back behind.
God, I don't want to cause any trouble. I was gonna use my claws and just start poking people in the sides to get them to move over.
Oh well, you're gonna make it through, but it's just it takes you a little while.
Oh, I don't mind then.
Yeah, it takes you a solid like 5 minutes to get to the other corner of the
good
room,
lord.
but it is a rather large room. So and because of the low check, like it does take you a little bit extra longer.
Yeah,
So
I just want to make my way to the other tabaxi.
yes, you make your way over. Who's watching this happen, by the way?
I'll kind of trace him with my eyes as he's walking over there.
Oh, I'm following Shayla, so
While this is happening, I'm gonna try and pay her the 4 gold for the.
Cornelius already paid.
Oh wait, I thought it was
Scoop
4
it
for
up.
each room.
No, it's 4 for all
No.
of you.
Okay.
All right. But Shayla will gladly accept tips
No, I'm fine.
of the gold variety.
Oh boy.
So, all right. So you're watching Lavash, and Lavash, you finally make your way to the other side of this rather rowdy tavern, and you see this sort of rather reserved tabaxi, completely almost midnight bluish fur,
Oh, that's nice.
just completely solid, almost blending into the sort of dim light of this corner. But the deep, piercing ice blue eyes, kind of like 2 little gemstones in the shadow.
Rengar.
I'm gonna walk over. I'm gonna sit down. Hello, brother.
That is sister to you.
Oh, I apologize. May I ask, what is one of our kind doing in a place like this?
The same that you would find any of our kind in a place like this. Merely a stop on the greater journey.
And if you do not mind me asking, where are you going? You
Where?
see, I've been traveling for a while now, and I would not mind some familiar company.
You do not recognize me, do you, Luvash? Make a history check.
Do 18.
This is Allura, one of the tabaxi that you knew briefly during your childhood. You never really talked to her too much, but she was there for a lot of the time that you were part of the Pride.
I'm just gonna lean in closer, and more than just look at her, I'm gonna smell her. Like, not straight up go close to her, just smell in her direction.
Slap.
Allura? Is that you?
Yes, it is, Luvash.
Huh. I never thought I'd see someone from our tribe ever again. Tell me, how is everyone doing?
If I were you, I would not return home.
Yeah, that is what I expected. Well, I'm not particularly keen on going back home. That's why I've been traveling for so long. But
Yet those of this establishment would tell me that you have passed through these very parts before. Yet you find yourself making a second stop at the place you've already visited, therefore retracing your steps. Do you intend to return to the Ebonwood?
Perhaps sometime later in the future. For the moment, I'm on the run from something different.
I
Well,
noticed you walk in with those interesting folk. Tell me, Luvash, what is it that you intend to do? This is truly not what you want. To return to the place that you tried so hard to get away from. Why not join me in my journey?
Can I make an insight check? She seems shifty. I know I was looking for shifty people, but God.
Go for it.
10.
Hard to read, man.
Yeah, goddamn tabaxi.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Where do you plan on going? Do you plan on going back to the tribe?
Oh, dear no. No. I've spent much too long among those trees. I wish to see something different. Something not so vibrant. Perhaps return to where my pride comes from.
Would I know where she actually comes from?
Make another history check.
Because I know that my tribe was kind of big.
Yeah,
Mix and match.
the
God damn it! Hey, what is up with my rolls tonight?
no, it's you're not entirely sure what she's talking about, but you can tell that she definitely doesn't want to be anywhere near the Ebonwood anymore.
Well, you know my story. Why are you leaving? That you can't just be leaving because you're tired of the Ebonwoods. There must be something else.
Make a persuasion check.
Ooh, 20.
Luvash, what you did, the after effects still haunt our people.
I know. I'm sorry.
Do not apologize to me. It insults the memory of your father. Now, I leave because the conflict grows stronger and more violent, and I do not wish to bring my young into such a world of violence.
I understand. I do.
If you do intend
I
to
don't-
return to the Heavenwood, Luvash, avoid the other Tabaki. They do not take too kindly to you even to this day. And she places a
I
paw on
imagine
your
they
shoulder.
wouldn't. I'm gonna take out my clothes and I'm gonna just scratch the table a little bit, just in frustration.
Do not seek our people. And she digs her claws into you. Do not.
You should remember the one thing that I do not allow people to take away from me is my freedom. If I so wish to go back, I will. Do not try to stop me.
I will not stop you. I will not prevent you. I simply offer you a warning, as one childhood friend to another.
I appreciate it. Well, I hope that you are able to get to your place of origin. And I wish you good luck and a good life for you and your children. I think I'm going to have to face what I did sometime soon. I've been on the run for too long. No more. I have to go back. And after that, I'm gonna leave.
Alright. Make another athletics check.
Oh, fuck.
I'll give you an opportunity to make it better than the other one. Just get better than a 4, so that way it's not awkward.
Okay, 10?
It's not as awkward as it would have been if it was a 4.
It was such a cool thing to walk out on.
Yeah,
I
and now you're
messed it up.
struggling to get through the crowd.
It was such a good thing to waddle out on.
Alright. I'm gonna make my way back to the counter.
Alright.
I'm going to assume that my room was already paid for. I'm gonna take a key, and I'm going. Well, I don't even know if there are keys, but I'm gonna go into my room.
Alright, so let's
You know.
let's see what was happening during that conversation. What was everybody doing? Actually, I'm gonna need Cornelius to make a con save.
Yes!
You're gonna be very drunk.
You're
Extremely
fucked up. You're fucked up.
Oh, no.
Everything has disadvantage.
Yes!
Walking upstairs at disadvantage.
He's gonna fall down the stairs and die.
This place is amazing!
One of the patrons next to you, as you kind of cry out in a resounding kind of cheer, kind of grabs you by the shoulder, and it's this sort of very muscular, very well worn hand. And as you kind of look over to see what's grabbing onto your shoulder, you kind of look down at an angle as this sort of gnarled dwarf kind of grabs onto your shoulder. Aye, that's this stuff! And like bangs his down and then brings it up. Another round! Kind of
I join in.
eyes squinted, like This is like scars all over his face. And Shayla, well, she never fails to provide. All right, Stark, what are you doing, bud?
I think I'll just retire early and go to bed. To be honest, seeing everyone all cheery in my disposition is not faring me well. So I'll go ahead and place a hand on Emery's shoulder and just say, I'll be heading up. If anything happens, I'll tap my ear.
Of course.
You know what to do. Do I have to push my way through a crowd too?
No, not to get up to the second floor where the rooms are.
Oh, but before I go up, I don't know what room mine is.
It's written on the key.
Ah.
Or rather, engraved.
Yeah, I'll go up then.
I'm gonna stop him real quick. What room are we?
I'll take out the key.
That one.
Does it say that one?
No, it's just like in my head, like you held it forward and pointed at the number and the letter. That one.
That one. Yeah, I'll just look at it. What key number is it?
27.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're at 27. All right. Again, if you do need anything, you know how to contact. I'll head up.
There you go.
I'm gonna try and I'm gonna fucking watch over Cornelius to make sure he doesn't get into too much trouble.
Okay. As you're saying that, Cornelius, make a dexterity check.
Oh boy, I'm good at those.
Not drunk you are.
Oh, that was supposed to be disadvantage. 11.
So as you're kind of swinging around with your new dwarven friend, you bump shoulders with the person on your left, which is quite an astounding feat as there was a seat between you.
Woo! He's completely leaned over.
And you spill the drink all over yourself and partially on this figure. If you would like to describe yourself.
All right, I'm or the figure I should say. He's about I would say about 5'11". He's a redhead. You immediately see it. He's gonna whirl to face you, look you right in the eyes, and if you weren't to look too much at his eyes, you'd just think they were a dark brown. And he's got a real nasty scar across the bridge of the nose. He's a very muscular man. He's pretty big. And he looks pissed. So there's that. He's wearing a breastplate with a cloak that's pulled pretty tight across the shoulders. And the hood's up. So that's what you're seeing.
I put the image up that our lovely artist made. Which I will now change over for the stream to see as well. The reveal of the new character. Boom. So yes, a drink has just been spilled all over you, and this very pale armored figure almost essentially falling into your lap, but almost knocking your stool over. Take it away.
Is he wearing a breastplate, or what's he wearing, like, for clothing wise?
Cornelius.
I am in chainmail.
Okay, I'm gonna
with light assorted plating around it. It's not really a
Alright.
breastplate, but it's kind of like holding it in place.
He's gonna reach forward and grab you by like the what would be like the collar of your shirt, but for your chainmail. He's gonna grab you and yank you towards his face. Watch where you're going. So,
I'm
I
gonna.
wanna
intervene in
intimidate.
this.
I'm gonna intimidate.
Okay, you throw an intimidation check.
Yeah.
Wisdom check with disadvantage. And Emery?
I'm gonna try and intervene in this, like
Check or
calm
wisdom?
down, friend.
Wisdom, just a wisdom check. It's not really a save.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
9.
That is a 6.
Oh, sorry, no,
Yeah.
that's I was saying-
You're getting drunk in real life too.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you are successfully intimidated by this fellow.
Nice.
I'm too drunk.
I'm gonna just sort of like shove him back now. Whether he falls or falls into someone else, it's not a big deal. I'll just shove him back the way he came.
And as you shove him back, the dwarf kind of grabs him and kind of like he shakes you for a second, sloshing the ale all over the place. Emery, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try and catch Cornelius, keep him from falling.
Okay, make a dexterity check.
Okay. Dexterity. That's the right one. What just happened?
Did that come up as different? Like the die? The die looked like something different for anyone
That's a
else?
natural 20.
That is a natural 20. So you grab him by the shoulders and keep him from getting tossed around a little bit more in this sort of mini mosh pit almost. You have him in your grasp.
This one yours?
You could say that, I guess. He's quite drunk. What you see, Adam, is a young man. My skin is like the color of a blue popsicle dropped in dirt, as
Huh.
Aries as Aries provided.
Is it like is it like speckled?
Yes, it's speckled in most places.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my eyes, however, have no irises and look like bronze plates, or sorry, copper plates. Like a copper mirror, more like.
Okay.
Yeah, this yeah.
You don't look like you're from around here.
Yeah, you could say that. We just arrived a couple minutes ago.
And your friend's already drunk. Good.
Yeah, you could.
Aye, a couple of rounds of bootlick will do it to ya.
Just one, apparently. Just one.
As the dwarf next to Cornelius downs another mug.
I'm just
I'm
running
sorry,
around and
by
having
the
good
way.
sense to fix myself.
I'll shake the hand. Not saying what my name is, though. What brings you to the Great Plains?
We're traveling through, I think. I'm not quite sure where we're supposed to go yet, but we're figuring it out.
Great place for travelers. Not
Is
for
it
those
now?
who stay.
How long have you been here? You don't seem to be. I don't take you for someone who stays in one place for too long.
I'm gonna like stick out my fingers and act like I'm counting. About 30 years.
I was completely wrong then.
Yeah. I'm gonna like reach back towards the back of my neck and just sort of rub my neck and say I had some obligations here for a time.
30 years is quite the long time.
Depends on the obligation.
I guess. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking, of course.
I'm gonna stick my hands out and pretend like I'm counting.
Don't
About
tell me
30.
30. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Uh-huh. Plains born and raised.
Hmm.
Where you folks from?
I can't speak for him, or I'm gonna like try and looking for like Luvash around the room,
He's already gone.
or the others. I think they've gone upstairs, but I'm from Eleanor.
Out west.
Yes.
Ah, see. Well, I mean, if you ever figure out where you're headed, talk to me and I'll see if I can give you some pointers. I know the Great Plains of Draenora like the back of my two hands. Keep your friend out of trouble. Obviously looking at Cornelius there.
Cornelius,
I'm
make
gonna be
another
honest-
Constitution save.
Oh no, please.
Failure.
Oh,
You vomit all over Emery.
And on that note, you have a good night. I'm gonna turn and walk towards the rooms.
Towards the rooms or out the door?
You know what? Yeah, we'll go out the door. Yeah.
All right.
Into the night. Pull my cloak tighter.
Make an athletics check.
How tight can I pull the cloak?
Cornelius, you really did get righteously drunk, didn't you?
Make another Constitution check.
Oh no.
Asking all the wrong questions.
Also, you need to make these with disadvantage.
Oh, right. Okay.
Mm.
Check or save?
Save.
Not any better.
Out cold.
Oh no, and he's wearing chainmail.
I'm heavy.
Oh no.
um.
The funny thing is I can fix this, but I'm out cold.
What can I do in this situation?
If you ever need anything, all you need to do is ask. Dangling the earring as he walked upstairs.
Yeah, I know. I was going to, but I'm trying to see like I kind of want to handle it myself, but I don't think I can.
I mean, you only burned one spell slot for the day.
Yeah, but I haven't replenished my my kit yet, so
That's also true.
kind of limited right now.
Oh, that was great.
I'm gonna call Starark down using the earring.
Okay, so
Starark,
Starark, just as you've finished finally getting off the final little buckles and straps of the very heavy dragon scale armor that you wear around, and you finally take it off and put it on the ground and begin to lie down in one of the two beds, you hear the voice of Emery.
We need I need some assistance downstairs with Cornelius.
I'll be down in a bit.
And you begin the excruciating process.
Why is he putting armor back on? Doesn't he not have normal?
I don't have any clothing. If you don't remember, I have like a tattered robe.
Yeah,
That's it.
Put that on.
Or do you want to like wrap one of the sheets around you?
No, I'm putting all my
It's
armor
got-
back on.
It's got like a towel around his waist.
See, this is
No, basically what it is a super torn up robe. That's all I've got.
so you begin the excruciating process of beginning to put all your armor back on just as you had just barely gotten it taken off.
Of course, Emery calls me when I Take every single piece off.
Put your pants on.
Come down just bare chest. Just
Yeah, who cares?
what?
Who cares?
Yeah, I'll come down without the helmet. Cause who needs the helmet, right? No, it just walking down the stairs.
Wait, did you say just the helmet?
Without with I said without the just without the helmet.
Okay.
Because who needs the helmet?
He comes down wearing nothing.
Nothing but the helmet.
Every
He walks down the
wait
stairs,
a
and as he
second.
makes it down to the last step, it's just the two horns of his dragon helmet, and he's just like, "I'm horny, and who's ready?" Just wearing the helmet.
Sheila.
Shayla would fucking
No, he comes
clock
down
you in the face.
Oh, Cornelia!
Okay,
I
so
need help!
this is where like donning and like doffing rules would like really slow things down, but fuck those rules.
Yeah.
We'll say about 10 minutes pass and you get everything on except for the helmet, letting your flowing locks finally fall without being all bunched up in that helmet.
And throughout that time, I'm like dragging Cornelius towards the stairs.
Make an athletics check.
Oh dear.
Where is?
Does my dwarven pal help?
Nah.
He's there for a good time.
Athletics, you said?
Yes, athletics. Nope. He is not budging. You are able to pull him off of the stool, and he lands with a thud. And you attempt to drag him over, scraping the chainmail against the wood floor.
I thought I wasn't able to.
You know, you're like pulling him centimeter by centimeter.
Ah.
It just affects the
Using your full weight as trying to pull him, and you are able to move him an inch by the time Starrett gets down. It was a 3.
It's a mouse trying to pull a mountain.
All right, what did you need help with?
Yeah, the other round.
Oh
Mhm.
my. All right. On the count of 3, do I make a
Make an athletics check.
athletics with advantage?
I mean, do we really think Emery's that much of a help?
I mean, he's
Wow.
assisting. He's assisting no matter what.
Okay.
So
Moral
I think,
support.
okay.
Moral support, yes. For moral support, throw with advantage.
Bestowing bardic inspiration.
I'm a
at
very
me.
charismatic man. I think I can talk Starark into lifting.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
You look down at Emery, and you recall the moment where you punched a chest out of existence, and
Oh no, I'm gonna get a new character.
and you hoist him up onto one shoulder. Make a perception check.
Oh. Wait, him or me?
Both of you.
Okay.
15.
Perception.
Wow.
The check was 20
Oh wow.
to succeed on. But as Starark lifts lifts hold on, lifts Cornelius. Shayla turns her head completely and watches.
Completely around or just
Yeah, full 360. No, she turns completely and watches.
Okay.
You catch that at a corner of your eye. Just for funsies. This is like a shopping episode.
Okay.
We're just having fun.
Wait,
And-
shopping?
Ta-da.
You put your arms out, kind of like super manning. Like, nah, I'm flying.
Cornelius. I gotta go fly.
I'm so high
And
right now.
We'll say for the sake of expediency that everybody makes their way to the room. And that's where we're going to take our break. So that is the end of part 1
Lord.
of the first episode of Season 2 of our Draenora series, titled A New Adventurer Approaches. We'll be back in about 15 to 20 minutes with the second part of our show, so stick around. There's more to come. We'll see you in a bit.